It's like a wall of lights along the horizon.
It was really a wake-up call for the region. So they'll kind of dip in from the high seas into the Argentine EEZ and then fish and then leave whenever there's a Coast Guard vessel or a Navy vessel that comes. And we're seeing the number of vessels increase year on year. And that is a result of overfishing in other regions. You're seeing increasingly vessels travel further and come to this hemisphere to find those fish.
20% of the global catch of fish is caught through illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, meaning that 1 out of 5 fish caught is caught illegally.
It's disengaged on one engine.
Two-thirds of the world's oceans are the high seas. The high seas are like the Wild West. They're largely ungoverned. There's no one country that's responsible for enforcement out there. China bears the responsibility, ultimately, of ensuring that those vessels are in compliance with the law.
You need to speak louder, I did not copy.
If you look at populations of sharks or populations of tuna, those populations have fallen. And so there's a concern here that a fleet that has decimated other fish species is now targeting squid, for which there's very little information known about.
All the squid are caught by jigs. These are like cylindrical lures with sharp hooks. They're not barbed. So the squid grab the hooks with their arms and then you pull the squid out of the water. If you have a vast resource and it's easy to take, then it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, well, this is limitless. That fleet is notoriously huge. That's the one that they originally saw from space.
And what was happening last year is those vessels in particular were turning off their tracking system. And there's really only 2 reasons you do that. 1, because you're under security threat, or 2, you're doing something that you don't want people to see. The answer from the Chinese government has been, we don't control them, or we haven't tracked them. Well, you can track them. We can track them. The NGOs can track them. If they wanted to track them, they could track them.
We've checked about 28 vessels. The majority of them have either some kind of irregularity or have a history of irregularities. We've come across ships with labor abuse allegations. We've come across many ships that are not transmitting on AIS, so they're gone completely dark.
You're stuck there?
What they'll do is have transport vessels come transfer the catch off the fishing vessel, which means that the crew just stays out there for a very long time, really without a break seeing land, which brings up a lot of concerns about human rights violations and labor standards. A lot of people talk about China as being the bad guy when it comes to overfishing, but we have to remember that China is a latecomer to this industry. They didn't start until 1985, and other countries like the former USSR, which was the largest, got underway in the 1950s and 1960s. The Europeans have been fishing for a very long time, especially Spain, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and they did a lot of the damage before there were even the standards in place by which we now judge China. So it really is a shared problem.
Estamos siendo avasallados por los barcos extranjeros, el límite de zona de trabajo de nosotros. Hoy en día, con el incremento de esa flota que nos hacen depredación, Nosotros trabajamos al límite. Trabajamos por decir un lunes y ya estamos regresando una semana. Yo no sé qué tanto poder tiene el extranjero que en mi casa vienen a hacer lo que quieren.
Consumers around the world also help contribute to overfishing through our choices, our demand for seafood, our consumer choices. You know, that puts pressure on the system as well. We saw a lot of steps to address the problem. China established a fisheries compliance center to train the fishermen to fish more sustainably. There are now regulations, stricter regulations.
We're relying on the good word of a country that has every economic incentive to not be entirely honest about what they're catching and how much they're catching.
Porque no hay un control marítimo. No hay un control marítimo que nos defienda a nosotros. Pero tenemos que seguir batallando, ¿no?